All right. Well, in today's program, we're going to adapt the system that we use to count all those numbers in pi. The other day, we're going to use those to count letters in English text. So I give you this base program. You need to open it up. There's a link in the Google Classroom. And if you run this, it prints out these numbers. This is how many times each letter of the alphabet shows up in this text. Annalie always answers the call. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 small letter A's, and see how there's a 5 right there. So we're going to change this text, but for now we have it right here. The first step, it says modify the program and make sure it handles upper and lowercase letters. So right here, we're going to say text equals text.lower. This takes this text and makes it all lowercase. And if we run it now, see, before I did that, we got 5 letter A's when we ran it. Now when we run it, we get 6 letter A's because this capital A gets turned into a small letter A. All right, that's step 1. Next, we're going to add a for loop that does a bunch of stuff. And you can just copy it out of the PDF. And I told you to go to the end of the program and paste it. It's important that it look like this. So you need the for loop here, and then everything else has to be indented one level. So not like that. That's not indented. All these things have to be indented. Now, if your text wraps like this, I guess you can still see it's indented. I moved the line over so we could see the whole line like in a row. So I just want to walk you through what this is doing. This is getting the current letter of the alphabet out of this variable. So it starts with grabbing the A, and then it gets how many A's there were out of this list variable called tally. So it grabs this 6 right here. And then it starts a variable called percentage, which takes how many A's there were divided by how many letters altogether there were. That's the sum of all the letters in this tally variable, all the numbers in the tally variable, and then times 100. This is how you calculate the percentage. The one you care about divided by how many there are total times 100. And then this just rounds the percentage to 2 decimal places so that our printout isn't just a mess. And then finally, this line prints out the letter, and then it prints out the number, how many of those were found, but right justified. And then it prints out the percentage, right justified, and adds that percentage sign. So I'll run this, and you'll see. Let's see. Let's also get rid of this print tally thing right here. We don't need that anymore. So right here, it prints out all the letters of the alphabet and tells how many times each one occurs and what percentage it is. So for this little piece of text, the letter A shows up 24% of the time. Interesting, huh? If you wanted to, you could add a bunch of other letters and run it again, and you'll see like I added a ton of Z's. So all of a sudden, Z shows up as almost 22% of the numbers. What you're going to do in a minute is you're going to replace this text that's between the triple quotes with something else. So I'm going to just replace it with 5 X's so we can easily come back, double click, and then we'll be able to paste. So make sure your program is running properly, as I've just shown you. Then we're going to add one more line here at the very end. Print sum tally. That's how many total letters we've analyzed. Letters processed. So when we run this now, right now it says 5 letters processed because I changed our text to just be 5 of the letter X. Anyway, here's our little report. All right. And so now what I'm asking you to do is to go to the Annalie Tiger Times school newspaper. And there's a link in the PDF. And here's the October 2020 issue. And you can, I want you to find an article. There's all these different categories. by article, I mean something bigger than a little paragraph, but let's take a look at pool updates. This is certainly long enough. What I'm asking you to do then, after you find an article you want to analyze, is click up here on the title and drag down, click and drag all the way to the end of the article. You can include the comments if you want, but you don't have to. I would just go like here to the end of the article. I've selected it. And then you can Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac, or you can right click on the text and say copy. But the idea is you're going to copy it, and then you're going to go back to your program, and you're going to go up here and replace the Annalie always answers the call. And then notice my cursor is blinking between the two sets of triple quotes right here. Control V, paste the article between the triple quotes. So see, here's a triple quote, the article, and up here, here's the triple quote and the article. Now, when I run it, it very quickly processes 1,800 letters and gives us this interesting breakdown of how many times each letter occurs in the article. Interesting, huh? So you get to choose the article. Don't do the pool updates unless that really is super important to you. All right. So I'm assuming if everything's working at this point, that you're in a good spot. Now, what I want you to do, I mean, it'd be good just to look and see which are the ones that are the biggest here. And obviously, let's see, the letter E shows up the most, right? 13%. Letter A is, shows up a lot. I, N, there's a lot of N's and a lot of O's. R, S, T. Anyway, interesting stuff. What I'd like you to do next is go to the Wikipedia. I gave you a link in the PDF to the Wikipedia article on letter frequency. And it's about how many times different letters show up in the English language in normal text. So you could just skim a little bit of this if you want. But here's the chart up at the top that I want you to look at. Don't worry about the dictionary one, but we're talking about text. It'd be good to look at the most popular letters. The blue ones are the vowels, but the most popular letters, 13% for the E, 9% for the T. Looks like the second most popular letter. And what I want you to do is to look at this chart and compare it with your chart, which is what you've got right here. And you don't have, there's 26 letters and all these numbers, and it could be really scary to compare this. I'm just asking you to look for any striking differences, or if they are pretty much the same, to recognize that. I mean, I would say the T is the second most common letter. Oh no, O is the second most common letter for this article. But the most popular ones are E at 13, O at 9.7, and then T at 8.6. So then let's go look and compare to Wikipedia. E, 13, O at 7, and T at 9. So my O and my T are like in the opposite order than Wikipedia, or not quite lined up, but it's all pretty close. So the last thing I want you to do is you're going to turn in your link to your REPL. Do a share link and copy, and then turn it in on the Google Classroom. And then on the Google Classroom, I want you to do a private comment where you give me a little analysis of your results, the numbers that show in your output from your article compared with the Wikipedia article. So just like you could say, for the most part, mine looked just like theirs. Or you could say, it's funny, in my article, the letter Z showed up a lot more because it talked about zebras. You could have a thing like that. If you did an article that mentioned a specific person by name a bunch of times, that letters from that person's name would show up more often than they would, in a normal sort of standard article. Anyway, lots of possibilities. I'm not looking for something super serious, but it is part of the assignment that you leave me a private comment after you turn it in saying something comparing your results to the Wikipedia results. All right, so that's today's assignment. Good luck.